Generating reports, briefs, infographics, videos, and presentations with AI. This module is output first. We are not here to learn tools for the sake of tools. We are here to produce real deliverables that humanitarian and development teams can use every day. Situation reports, inform risk country profile, drought presentations, infographics, assessment summaries, meeting talking points, slide decks, proposals, all sorts of concept notes and internal decision memos. We will use only 3 tools: NotebookLM, Gamma App AI, and Napkin AI. Each has a different strength. NotebookLM is the strongest at evidence synthesis work, extracting, organizing, and synthesizing information from different sources you provide. Gamma AI is the strongest at packaging, turning a clean outline into a presentation, a brief style deck, or structured content in minutes. Napkin AI is strongest at a simple visuals, just turning one paragraph or few paragraphs into a visual. The objective of this course was very simple: evidence first, packaging comes second. We do not invent numbers, we don't guess, we don't pay sensitive personal data. By the end of this module, you will have AI workflow to produce outputs. Start with the sources you already have, the documents you usually update on a weekly or daily basis, extract the story, generate the right output formats, and produce communications that help decision makers. Let's get it started. With the first tool we have here, Gamma. You can start for the free version and you can log in if you already have a login credentials. If not, then start a fresh one. Napkin AI. Napkin AI is also a text to visual application. So the good thing with this one is if you have like few sentences or paragraphs and you want to convert it into a visual quickly, you can Napkin AI. Now let's get out of the way and also work on Notebook, and we will start with NotebookLM. It also has quite a lot. It can produce reports, videos, audios, infographics, and slide presentations. We will see all of it in action right now. Okay, so in this notebook or brain knowledge, I've imported informed risk. So you can see the informed risk mid-year 2025 version 071. I converted it into a PDF, but usually when you are downloading, it comes from informed risk. Let me bring it here. It comes from Inform Global Open Source. So I basically downloaded it from here. So in this profile also I have Inform output, but we'll come back to this. I also have another one. I have the PDF version. I show you the other notebook. I also have the Excel file. If you want to import the Excel file or any Excel data in that matter, you have to go through Google Drive. So you need to upload into a Google Drive. Mine is here under Inform folder. So if you see the X, that X shows you this is an Excel format. But you need to basically change to a spreadsheet, a Google spreadsheet. To do that, when you upload it into your drive, this has like 16 tabs. You'll have to come to the file and see here, save as a Google Sheets. So you need to save it as a Google Sheet. And when you save it as a Google Sheet and you come back and say add a source and say drive, and basically you can navigate to that folder. So it will definitely show you there. So If I come to the drive, my drive, so let me click info. So now basically I can only see the Google spreadsheet. I don't see the Excel file, I have it there. So that's the trick. If you want to import any Excel file, you cannot just import Excel file plainly. You have to convert it into a Google Sheet, and then NotebookLM will be able to read that. So let's get out of the way that one. And then when you come to the chart, you can ask anything you want. So as you can see, this is a long chart on the risk brief, East Africa, and those are the outputs I have on the right. So let's focus on the outputs we already have. So I'll start with East Africa. This is a presentation mode. So expand. So this basically is a presentation created on NotebookLM. So you can see that it has like the heading, even it has created the maps. You have Somalia, Sudan, so that this is an East Africa is a strategy brief. I mean brief, it's not a strategy. It's the risk brief. And basically I've added a prompt to a specific aspect to create in this format. So the prompt is a very long one. So you're a humanitarian development design specialist, prompt senior communication and advocacy designer for a top-tier international NGO or UN agency. Then you talk about the visual ways, the things you want to do, transform concepts into metaphors, dignified, convert statistics into a clean, human-centric. So basically, that's how you can create a presentation. This is a very clean, minimalistic one with all the visuals. The second one is a mind map. I'll show you the mind map as well. So based on the info risk index, it has 3 dimensions, as you already know, and the objective of this is for the global humanitarian analysis to manage proactively on crisis. So also to one of the objectives is resource allocation, coordinated preparedness, and it has like 3 main dimensions here. And if you want to learn something, you can also quickly convert it to a mind map. Hazards, vulnerability, lack of coping capacity. So let's come to the hazards. It has 2 main ones: natural hazards, which consists of floods, drought, riverine floods, tropical cyclones, and epidemics. And also if you come to the human, conflict and projected conflict probability. So if you come to the vulnerability dimension, you'll see socioeconomic vulnerable groups. So if we come to the socioeconomic development deprivation, inequality, economic dependence, it has a lot, and you can basically grasp the whole of the concept of any document or anything you want in minutes. So let's get back to the studio again. So we've already created also, these are all reports. If you see now this icon, it's a report. If you see that a tree like is also a mind map, and if you see something closer to a screen, it's a presentation. So moving to the report, as you can also see this report, if you say show prompt, it will show you the prompt you have used. Basically, this is the informed risk for South Sudan specifically, and then it goes through the whole document, executive summary, key supporting conclusions, evidence at a glance, overall risk, and also if you come to the other one also, executive summary, the informed risk index, and it has all the details. South Sudan is number 1, is ranked number 1 globally. Afghanistan, Nigeria, Colombia. So if we come to also the specific one for Somalia and click that one, you'll also see, I think Somalia ranks 2nd in the world. Yeah, 2nd in the world out of 191 countries. So these were the three main dimensions: hazards and exposure, vulnerability, and lack of copying capacity. So you go through the profile overview and methodology, and you can see all the details. There are different ways you can copy paste by clicking copy the content, or you can go back and click more here, these three dots, and then you say export to Google Docs. Alright, so let's come to the last output related to this one. East Africa risk profile. As you can see, this presentation is similar to the previous one, I think. Yeah, exactly. But this one we have the prompt as well. It's here. If you want to download, you can download. And when you download, please remember that it will have this NotebookLM bookmark all the time, even if you have the Pro version. I know this is not a Pro version, but I have the Pro version or the Plus version of the NotebookLM, and it has the NotebookLM. So if you want to remove this one, you need to also have different tools. Or maybe the easiest one I can show you here is let's come to this one. So 3 nations face systemic collapse. Right click and say save as image. So when you say, so you have to basically say that right click and open in Paint. So when you open that image in Paint, so basically what you can do is you hold it here, voila. So now it's gone and you say it's safe. So you have to do it one by one, and also create a separate presentation. The other way, if you don't want to create one by one, you also need to have a Pro version of Canva. Those are the two methods I usually use. When you take the whole PDF to Canva, and you can say you can use Magic Eraser to remove. If you feel comfortable presenting with NotebookLM, it's also fine. You don't need to worry about this. So also moving to the informed risk index, what I did is I took one of the outputs for Somalia and copy pasted it in a different notebook just to create an infographic. Well, look at this. Somalia, a profile of extreme risk 2025. We have seen Somalia come second out of 191 countries globally. Very high risk. 6.9 million people require humanitarian assistance. So these were the 3 main drivers: hazards and exposure, 9.1 out of 10 score, vulnerability 8.24 out of 10 score. You see these are very quite high. So basically also when you click here, you also have the custom prompt. This just says that country risk profile for Somalia is structured to reflect the requested dynamic one-pager format, integrating data specifically from this report and related humanitarian updates. So basically it's the only source it has, and when you say create, it creates. But when you want to add your own prompt, you have to click that pen here. So you come here and basically you need to add or describe your prompt here. So you usually paste your prompt here. When you say generate, please be patient, hold tight, it takes a bit of time. It might take few minutes when it's creating. So go and grab a coffee while it's creating, and when you come back, voila, it's done. And one last thing on inform, yes. So if you come to this also inform risk, we have Somalia profile as well. And if you want to also request any other country, these are the things I've written here. I said just detailed country, brief or Somalia risks, including all indicators, variables, scores, and drivers, hazards, vulnerability, and lack of coping mechanism. Even if you don't mention this, it will bring all. So as you can see here, based on this, you have all the details here. Basically, that's how you come up with the report with all the details. You can save also to a note. When you say to a note, it brings to your right, and then you can take it from the right, when you say that save this note, it will bring it here. It's generating a note. So when it brings here, you can also click these three dots and say convert it to a source. So when you convert to a source, it will bring it on the left side. So now it's generating it here. It becomes one of your sources. So if you want to also consider only using one source while creating, you deselect all the checkboxes and say click here. So when you select this, then you can go and create any of this based on one source. All right. So now let's move to another example. I think we have seen it already. Display